Hi all, welcome back to my channel Q Warrior, and here we only discuss the interview question that are asked in the testing interviews. And if you are new to this channel, so it's very important to subscribe and also press the bell icon to get notification about this channel. And today we are going to see another important topic, and it's very important to watch this video till end. So let's begin. So today's topic is Agile Model in SDLC. SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. So what happens in the Agile model, that in earlier days, iterative waterfall model was very popular to complete any project in any company. Okay, but nowadays developers face various problems while using it to develop a software using the waterfall model. The main difficulties include handling change requests from customers during project development and the high cost and the time required to incorporate these changes. To overcome these drawbacks of waterfall model, in the mid 1990, the Agile software development model was proposed. The Agile model was primarily designed to help a project to adapt to change requests quickly. So the main aim of the Agile model is to facilitate quick project completion. To accomplish this task, agility is required. Agility is achieved by fitting the process to the project, removing activities that may not be essential for a specific project. Also, the wastage of time and effort is avoided using the Agile model. So now you can see in this diagram, Agile methodology consists of Scrum, Crystal methodologies, DSDM, Dynamic Software Development Method, FDD, Feature Driven Development, Lean Software Development, and last is the Extreme Programming, also known as XP. Now let's understand about the Scrum. So Scrum is an agile development methodology which concentrates specifically on how to manage tasks within a team-based development environment. Basically, Scrum is derived from activity that occurs during a rugby match. So Scrum believes in empowering the development team and advocates working in small teams. So the Scrum is basically suitable for small teams like 7 to 9 members. If you have in a team, then you can go with the Scrum approach. It consists of 3 major roles and the responsibilities are explained as follows. So the main role is Scrum Master, Product Owner and Scrum Team. So the interview question that is asked from the Scrum is that what are the 3 major stakeholders in the Scrum. So first is the Scrum Master, second is Product Owner and third is the Scrum Team. So Scrum Master is responsible for setting up the team sprint meetings and remove any obstacle to progress. So during the testing, if the feature is not built correctly, if there is any requirement from the dev team, so what you can do, you can raise all these issues and concern to the Scrum Master, and Scrum Master is there to handle all these hindrances. Okay. Also, second stakeholder is the Product Owner. The Product Owner creates product backlog, prioritizes the backlog and is responsible for the delivery of the functionality at each iteration. So for example, if you are creating a application, so there are several functionality. So each functionality is divided into stories. So the product owner creates the product backlog in which all the stories are stored, and product owner, he will prioritize the product backlog, that which story should come first, which should come next and all. He will be the one who will prioritize the backlog and also responsible for the delivery of the functionality at each iteration. Iteration is also called as sprint or cycles. Okay. Now Scrum Team. So the team that manages its own work and organizes the work to complete the sprint or cycle is called the Scrum Team. So they work on its own and they organize themselves to complete the sprint or cycle. Now in this diagram you can see the Scrum Master, he is organizing the Scrum meeting. The Product Owner, he is preparing the product backlog. He is prioritizing the product backlog, and the team organizes their task by themselves. It is called a Scrum Team. Now the product backlog. So product backlog is a repository where requirements are tracked with details on the number of requirements to be completed for each release. So it should be maintained and prioritized by the product owner, and it should be distributed to the Scrum team. So what happens is that all the requirements that is created is kept into the product backlog. The requirement can also be considered as user stories or functionalities, and the product backlog should be maintained and prioritized by the product owner, as we have already seen, and it is distributed to the Scrum team only by the product owner, that which story the team is going to work and which all stories team will be working on in this current iteration or current sprint. Team can also request for a new requirement addition or modification or deletion. So for example, product owner has assigned 7 or 8 stories to the team, and the team has completed the testing as well as the development of those stories. So they can request the product owner to add some more stories to the sprint, or they can modify, means they can remove or delete some of the user story if the team doesn't have capacity to handle more stories. Now let's understand the process flow of Scrum methodology. So process flow of Scrum testing is as follows. Each iteration of a Scrum is known as a sprint, and the product backlog is a list where all details are entered to get the end product. Okay, so all the functionalities, like from the logging to adding a product to cart, search for the product, increase or decrease the quantity of the product, after that adding item to cart, then move to the payment option after making payment. So all those functionalities are listed down in the product backlog. So during each sprint, top user story of product backlog are selected and turned into sprint backlog. Okay, and team works on the defined sprint backlog, and team checks for the daily work. So we have a application like Jira or version 1, so where there is a chart where all the stories are written like to do, in progress, ready for test. So the testing team can pick the stories that are in ready for test. If they are in progress, they can start on the test design or start writing the queries if they have any regarding that test cases. And at the end of the sprint, team delivers product functionality. Okay. Now, what is Crystal methodologies? It is the another methodology after the Scrum. So Crystal methodology is based on the 3 concepts. First is chartering, second is cyclic delivery, third is wrap up. So what happens? Various activities involved in this phase are creating a development team, performing a preliminary feasibility analysis, developing an initial plan, and fine-tuning the development methodology. So in chartering, mainly the things that is taken care is related to the development team. Next is the cyclic delivery. The main development phase consists of 2 or more delivery cycle, during which the team updates and refines the release plan or the requirement, implement a subset of the requirement through 1 or more program test, integrate iterations. Also, integrated product is delivered to the real users, and review of the project plan and adopted development methodology is taken care in the cyclic delivery. Last is the wrap up. The activities that is performed in this phase are deployment into the user environment, post deployment reviews, and reflections are performed. So this is about the Crystal methodologies. Next is the DSDM. It means Dynamic Software Development Method. So this DSDM is a RAD approach to software development. RAD stands for Rapid Application Development, and it provides an agile project delivery framework The important aspect of DSDM is that the users are required to be involved actively and the teams are given the power to make decisions. Frequent delivery of product becomes the active focus with the DSDM. And the techniques that are used in the DSDM are time boxing, Moscow rules and prototyping. Okay. Now let's understand what the DSDM project consists of. So DSDM project consists of 7 phases: pre-project, feasibility study, business study, functional model iteration, design and build iteration, implementation and post-project. Now next comes the feature driven development. So FDD stands for the method that is focused around designing and building features. Okay, so this FDD is focused around designing and building features. Unlike other agile methods, FDD describes very specific and short phases of work that has to be accomplished separately per feature. It includes domain walkthrough, design inspection, promote to build, code inspection and design. FDD develops product keeping following things in the target. So what all we saw, like FDD, SDM, so all these things are the part of the agile. So if you are given a project that is FDD, so it doesn't mean that it is a project which is not a part of agile. It is an agile project, but FDD is a component of the agile. Okay. Now in FDD, the things that is taken care is domain object modeling, development by feature, component or class ownership, feature teams, inspections, configuration management, regular builds and feasibility of progress and result. So all these things are taken care in the feature driven development. Now it comes the lean software development. Lean software development, it is also a part of the agile methodology. So in lean software development method is based on the principle just in time production. It is also called as JITP. Okay, it aims at increasing speed of software development and decreasing cost. Lean development can be summarized in 7 steps: eliminating waste, amplifying learning, defer commitment, early delivery, empowering the team, building integrity and optimize the whole. So when I talk about empowering the team, it means like providing all the knowledge that is required for delivering the particular product. So this is all about the lean software development, which aims at increasing speed of software development and decreasing cost. Last comes the extreme programming, which is also known as XP in the short form. So extreme programming technique is very helpful when there is a constantly changing demands or requirement from the customer, or when they are not sure about the functionality of the system. So in this case only, where the functionality is not fixed or it is not sure, customer is not sure about the functionality, then you have the only option to use the extreme programming. It advocates frequent releases of the product in short development cycle, which inherently improves the productivity of the system and also introduces a checkpoint where any customer requirements can be easily implemented. The XP develops software keeping customer in the target, because customer is also not sure what he really wants, what functionality he wants. He is only sure that he wants an application that behaves in a particular way, but he is not sure what functionality he exactly wants. So in that case, XP can help the customer to develop the software keeping the customer in the target. Also, business requirements are gathered in terms of stories. All those stories are stored in place called the parking lot. So in Agile, whenever we talk about a functionality, we tell them in the term called stories. So whatever we were calling it in the waterfall model, The same thing we call it as a form of stories. So the task or the requirement in Agile is called as stories, and all those stories are stored in a place called the parking lot. In this type of methodology, releases are based on the shorter cycle called iteration with a span of 14 days time period. So when I am talking about 14 days time period, so it means 3 weeks and 1 day less, because in IT we work for 5 days a week. So 5 plus 5 plus 4, here comes the 14 days time period. Okay, each iteration include phases like coding, unit testing and system testing, where at each phases some minor or major functionality will be built in the application. Now, when to use the agile model? It's a very nice question for the anyone who is studying about the agile model. So we use the agile model only when the frequent changes are required, when the requirement is not constant, it is changing frequently, when a highly qualified and experienced team is available, and when a customer is ready to have a meeting with a software team at any time during their working time period. Also when the project size is small. So in all these four circumstances you can use the agile model. Now let's understand what is the advantage of the agile model. So agile is a very realistic approach to software development. It promotes the teamwork and cross training. Functionality can be developed rapidly and demonstrated. So whatever functionality you are developing, you need to showcase it to the customer to get the feedback that if any modification or changes is required. If not, then we can continue with the whatever stories that is assigned in that particular sprint. Also, resources requirement are minimum, suitable for fixed or changing requirement, delivers early partial working solutions. Also, good model for environment that changes steadily. Okay, this is all about the advantages of agile model. So let's understand some more advantages. It has minimum rules, as we have seen in the video, like waterfall model. There were so many rules that you can't skip one of the phases. You have to first complete first phase like requirement analysis, then only you can come to the design phase, or you can come to the development phase. So here there is no hard and fast rule, very minimum rules, documentation easily employed. It also enables concurrent development and delivery within an overall planned context. Also, little or no planning is required in agile. It's very easy to manage. It gives flexibility to developers. Likewise, in waterfall model, if you are in the testing phase, you can't go back to the development phase. Whatever defect that you are encountering, it will be only taken care once the full iteration is completed. But here it's not the case. It gives full flexibility to the developers, okay, in agile. Now let's understand the disadvantages of the agile model, because every model has some advantages and disadvantages as well. So agile model is not suitable for handling complex dependencies. Also, more risk of sustainability, maintainability and extensibility. And overall plan, an agile leader and agile project manager practice is a must, without which it will not work. So for agile, you should have an agile leader and agile project manager. Then only you can work in a agile model. Also, strict delivery management dictates the scope, functionality to be delivered and adjustment to meet the deadlines. Also, it depends heavily on customer interaction. So if customer is not clear, team can be driven in the wrong direction. There is very high individual dependency since there is a minimum documentation generated. As in waterfall, everything we document, but in agile, there's very less documentation. So there is huge dependency on a particular individual who is handling a particular application. So this is one of the disadvantages of the agile model. Also, the transfer of technology to new team member may be quite challenging due to the lack of documentation. So if a team member who is existing team member who is leaving the team, so for them it's very important, or it's very challenging to provide the proper KT to the new team member because you don't have proper documentation. Okay, so transfer of technology is a challenge in the agile model. So that's all in this video, and we will see most interesting and important topics in the upcoming videos. So please subscribe to my channel, like the videos, and also comment down on the video if you have any queries. So thank you for watching.